To be America's friend is fatal. And there is a reason for that. Tonight, I want to start the show with these words by Henry Kissinger. He once said, "It may be dangerous to be America's enemy, but to be America's friend is fatal." And there is a reason for that. US foreign policy is extremely self-centered. Allies change, enemies change, only one thing remains constant, and that's America's preaching nature. On Friday, we saw another example of that. United States President Joe Biden was attending a fundraiser in Seattle. It was more of a private event. Few journalists, fewer cameras. It was all about Biden detailing his vision, his policies for the United States. As expected, the conversation veered to Russia's war in Ukraine, and this is where it gets interesting. Biden does not see Putin's war as a purely strategic battle. He sees it as an ideological battle, autocracy versus democracy. In this battle, Biden has identified two camps. On one side, China and Russia, the autocrats. On the other, the alliance of democracies. I know it sounds great, but Joe Biden had a caveat. Listen closely to what he said. The point being that one of the things that the autocrats fear the most, and India has its own problems, all those countries have their own problems, is the notion that somehow we can work together in concert and contrary to what are essentially dictatorships. Now, what problems is he talking about? That Biden did not explain, but let me break down the statement for you. Biden feels that Indian democracy is imperfect, that Indian democracy has its own problems. Just to be clear, nobody asked Joe Biden to judge India's democracy. Nobody asked him to troubleshoot Indian politics, but the US president did it anyway. India is the largest democracy in the world, the only coordination that borders China, the only coordination facing direct Chinese aggression. Yet, Biden is busy criticizing India. And this raises an important question. Does the US see India as a natural strategic partner, or does it see India as a convenient friend, sort of like a tool to contain China? America's recent track record does not inspire confidence. In Syria, they abandoned the Kurds. In Afghanistan, they abandoned the Ashraf Ghani government. In Ukraine, they are cheering from the sidelines. Like I said, self-centered and volatile. Even their oldest ally, France, was not spared. I'm of course talking about the AUKUS fiasco. America snatched away a submarine deal that was committed to France. What's worse, Paris was not even informed. Now, what does all of this indicate? Reliability issues. Partners who bet on US support are regretting it. The question is, will India be an exception? Frankly, it's hard to say. Do you remember this month's 2+2 dialogue between India and America? The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, decided to talk about India's human rights record. He said that he was tracking so-called concerning reports from India. Again, this was unsolicited. India did not ask for an assessment, yet Blinken decided to give one anyway. And now you have the American president using the same language. He is talking about quote-unquote problems with Indian democracy. Well, what about American democracy? Last year, there was an insurrection at the US Capitol. America's Congress was vandalized. Millions of Americans still believe that the 2020 election was rigged. Gun violence is uncontrolled. Systemic racism is everywhere. What does Joe Biden have to say about any of that? Listen to how he described the United States in his address to the Congress last year.
America is an idea. The most unique idea in history. We are created, all of us, equal. It's who we are. And we cannot walk away from that principle and, in fact, say we're dealing with the American idea.
The most unique idea in history. How convenient. Every other democracy is flawed or is dealing with its own problems, but not America. This habit of preaching is very old in the US. On religious freedoms, on human rights, the US consistently judges other countries. And at the same time, they give out a clean chit to themselves. Now, this is not how partnerships are built. Partners trust each other to manage their own house. They do not preach. And if Joe Biden is serious about building a partnership with India, he must realize this. If not, he will be playing into China's hands. During the Cold War, Kissinger's words were true. Allies, rivals, everyone had a target on their back. 30 years later, Washington must make a choice. Does it want to be the trustworthy friend or the class monitor that no one likes? We on now, years later, Washington must make a choice. Does it want to be the trustworthy friend or the class monitor that no one likes? We on years later, Washington must make a choice. Does it want to be the trustworthy friend or the class monitor that no one likes? We on now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.